Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you the specs of the Oculus Go. Now, the Oculus Go was released in 2018. It's actually a pretty good alternative when working with less demanding projects. Uh, uh, Now, some things that you have to take into account of if we compare the Oculus Go with the Oculus Rift is the first thing that it's important to take into account is that the Oculus Go doesn't have tracking. So this is important. Uh, that means that if the Oculus Go doesn't know if you are moving um, through the room. Of course, it does detect if you are moving your head, but if you are moving uh, somewhere else, uh, it won't be tracking that. Another thing that's important to note is that the Oculus Go works with your mobile device. For example, so that the Oculus Go works, you have to download the app in your mobile phone, smartphone, and pair your Oculus Go with your cell phone. This is done with Bluetooth connection. Now, another thing that is worth mentioning is the CPU that the Oculus Go has, which is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 821. This is a quad-core processor, and something interesting is that as a developer, you will have access to the cores of the processor, but it is recommended that you use a uh, specific cores so that you don't hit the performance of the Oculus Go. Um, Finally, another thing that it's interesting is that the Oculus Go uh, only comes with one controller, and if we compare it once again with the Oculus Rift, which is a much well, you can make more demanding projects with it, and it gives you more functionalities. Of course, it is a bit more. It has a greater price, but the Oculus Go it's actually a pretty good device if we take into account the price and what it gives us. Finally, something important to take into account as well is that the lens distance cannot be changed. So it's a specific distance and a fixed distance. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to configure your cell phone in order to use the Oculus Go device. Now, the first thing that you're going to need is to download the Oculus app. This can be done simply by going to the Google Play Store and searching for the Oculus app. Once you've downloaded the Oculus app, let's go ahead and open it. So when the first time that you open the app, it will ask you to log in. If you already have an account, simply sign in. If you don't have an account, you will have to register. Once you've signed in or registered, the first time that you open the app, it might ask you certain steps to configure your account. Once you've done with that, it will take you to the home page. Now, since we're going to be working with our Oculus Go inside of Unity, we must make sure that we are in the developer mode. How can we enable our Oculus Go for the developer mode? Simply go to the settings page. Let's give it a moment. And once you're here, as you can see here at the top, I have my devices, my VR devices that are detected. For example, you can see the Oculus Rift, and at the top you can see the Oculus Go. And as you can see, it says connected. That is because I've already done the process of pairing my cell phone with the Oculus Go. And as you can see, it is telling me that it is connected and that the battery is 87%. Now, how did I do this? As you can see, there's this option called pair new headset. Simply press and it will ask you what headset you're using. Oh, I'm not using Rift. And as you can see, there are many options. In this case, I'm going to select the Oculus Go. And then you will simply have to follow the steps that appear in screen. I will not do them again because they're pretty straightforward and I've already paired the device. But you just have to follow the instructions that the app will be telling you. If I go back, not now. Okay, now once you've successfully paired your Oculus Go with your cell phone, you will have to enable the developer mode. How can I do that? Simply select your Oculus device and you will see that these options will appear once you touch this part. We are interested in the more settings option. So I'm gonna touch that option and then we have all of these options. And you can see that developer mode is right here. So I'm going to touch it and simply enable the developer mode. Now, the first time that you enable the developer mode, you will have to register. It's actually pretty easy. Once again, the app will tell you what steps you have to follow. But once you've registered to be a developer, uh, you will simply select this option. So for example, right now it's disabled and simply press it, touch it again to enable it. Okay, now we are in developer mode. In the, if having our device ready for the developer mode, we can jump to the next step, which will be how we can configure our Unity scene so that we can debug, test uh, our projects that we are doing inside of Unity in our Oculus Go. Okay, another thing that you have to make sure before you start configuring your Unity project is to make sure that you have the Android modules installed for your Unity version. As you can see, here I have my Unity versions installed in my computer. And since in this class we were going to be working with the 2020 version, I will go into the three dots. Oh, by the way, this is Unity Hub. So I strongly recommend that you download Unity Hub because it will help you avoid problems with the Android SDKs. I really, as I say, I strongly recommend that you download the Unity Hub because handling Android SDKs can be uh, a real problem. So uh, using Unity Hub will help us avoid most of those problems. So let's head. I'm right here in at installs, and as I was saying, I have my Unity versions here, and I will click on the three dots and go to the option Add Modules. Once I'm in this window, make sure that you have installed the Android build support with the Android SDK and NDK tools and OpenGDK. Once you have that, it can happen that when you try to build your Unity project and you're working with Android SDKs that you get some errors because your SDK is outdated or because you need a specific SDK. So what I recommend, what is something that has helped me, is using the SDK manager. And the SDK manager can be accessed by through Android Studio. So I have Android Studio right here. And if you go into tools, you can see that here's the option for the SDK manager. I'm going to click SDK manager and this window will appear. And as you can see, we have the SDK platforms, SDK tools, and SDK update sites. In previous videos, we used the Android Studio and the SDK manager to download the Google USB driver because this is important to have when we are working with a mobile phone inside of Unity. So in our case, this is just like a small tip. If you're having problem with the SDK, if you're having errors from Unity regarding SDK, Android SDK, the the SDK manager is a really good option because as you can see, the SDK manager has many versions depending on the Android version you're using. So this can be a really good alternative. Now, simply make sure that if you have installed another Android version, that I'm going to open Unity real quick to explain that. You must make sure that Unity is pointing to the folder where the SDK manager is downloading the SDKs. How can we do this? We can simply go to our preferences, and inside of preferences we can select external tools, and if we scroll down we can see that we have this section for Android, and right now we have the GDK path, we have the Android SDK tools path. Now it is recommended that you have this option selected, but in my case Unity was giving me some errors and was telling me that I didn't have the correct SDK installed. So if that happens, you can always search for the path that the SDK manager is saving. For example, here I have the path, and simply copy this path and paste it in this part. So it was just a small tip, just in case you are having trouble with the Android SDKs. Now we can continue with the rest of the configuration. Hello everyone, and welcome back. So once we've finished configuring our cell phone with the Oculus app, and once we've successfully paired our cell phone with our Oculus Go device, the next step will be to configure our Unity scene so that whatever project that we do inside of Unity, we can test it inside of the Oculus Go device. Now, before we begin, make sure that you connect your Oculus Go to your computer. This can be done using the cable that you use to charge it. So once you make sure that you have connected your Oculus Go, let's begin configuring our scene. The first thing that I want to do is go into build settings, file build settings, and make sure that you have the Android platforms selected. By default, Unity will be in PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. But for this project, or when we are working with the Oculus Go, we must make sure that we have the Android platform. Now, once you've switched to the Android platform, we are done with the build settings, so let's close the window. Then head over to project settings. And on the left, select player. Once you're in player, make sure that you choose your company name. In this case, I chose Cons Company. It's pretty simple. And once you are ready with that, let's close this window and head over to Window and then Package Manager. So once you are in the Package Manager, I think that Unity by default shows you what packages you have in your project. But in order so that we can see the rest of the available packages, we're going to click in Packages in Project and then choose Unity Registry. Okay, now we have all of the available packages that we can download. And for this case, in order for the Oculus Go to work, we're going to, first of all, install the XR plugin management, which I've already installed. So simply select it and then install. And the other thing that we're going to need is the Oculus XR plugin. So make sure that you have those of both of them installed, the XR plugin management and the Oculus XR plugin. Okay, once you've successfully installed these packages, the next thing that we're going to do is Oculus already has a Unity package so that we can start, so that we don't have to start from scratch. This Oculus package can be found in the Asset Store. Now, remember that the Asset Store uh, is now on the web browser to improve the performance of the Unity editor. So simply head to the, um, let me see if I can close this, yeah, and search online. Okay, so now we are in the Unity Asset Store. And I'm going to search for Oculus. And as you can see, here it is. I'm going to click on the Oculus. And I've already uh, downloaded this package. So once you already download the package, you will have the option to open it in Unity. So I'm going to open in Unity. And this window will appear. And yes, I want to open it in the Unity editor. And as you can see, here it is, the Oculus integration. I already have it here in my scene, so I will not download it again, but simply select it and download, then import. Okay, so as you can see in my assets, I now have a folder called Oculus. So I'm going to go inside of the Oculus, and then I'm going to select VR. And as you can see, there's a lot of assets for VR. I'm going to head into the scenes. And we can choose whatever scene we want. I'm going to choose, in this case, cubes maybe. Okay, I'm going to choose this scene, and then I'm going to head back into my build settings, and I'm going to disable this scene, and I'm going to tell Unity to add open scenes. In this case, it's the one with the cubes. And for us to try this simple scene, um, we're going to press the build and run option. Let's name it Oculus Go Test 3, and I'm going to save it. And let's give Uni. Okay, now this this will pop up because you must make sure that in your Oculus Go that you've selected the the USB debugging. So simply put on your headset, and once you put your headset on, the Allow USB debugging window will appear inside of your Oculus Go. So simply uh, tell Oculus Go that it's okay to allow USB debugging. So I'm going to hit OK. And once Unity, let's press retro. Let's wait for Unity to finish building our project. And in the meantime, we can put on our Oculus Go and It once Unity finishes building the project, it will automatically appear in our Oculus Go vision. So let's wait a bit. I'm right now looking also into my Unity Oculus Go device. Okay, seems like it's loading. Okay, I can see. Okay, and right now in my Oculus Go, I can see the scene that we just created inside of Unity. So now that you have your Oculus Go linked to your Unity project, you can start testing whatever logic project you start doing inside of Unity. I hope this video helped, and I will see you on the next video.